Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Canva 101 Conservation Edition. I am Amy Work, Director of Communications and Member Programs for the Indiana Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts. And we're so excited that you can join us for this first session in a new training series regarding Canva. Before we get started, I did want to thank everyone who completed the pre-survey. There was a link in your confirmation email and reminder email, and we really appreciate your feedback. This has helped us to better understand your experience level and what you hope to gain from these sessions. So we appreciate your time in doing that. And you can still fill that out if you haven't done that yet. Feel free to fill that out, and it will help guide the sessions in the future as well. Um, One survey result that stood out from that pre-survey was that 46% of the respondents said that they currently use Microsoft Publisher for publications and graphic design. And just in case you haven't heard, Microsoft Publisher will be retired in October. So that sort of spurred us on to want to do a series like this so that you know there are other options out there for you to use. Microsoft Publisher will no longer be supported or included in Microsoft's suite of products when it retires in October. So since there's so many of you that do use Publisher, we wanted to give you another option and look at a different platform that will help you with your newsletters or annual reports, your flyers, or whatever you have been using Publisher for. And then you'll also learn more about what Canva offers in that way too. Canva is a design platform that can help you create professional looking communications without needing a background in graphic design. Whether you're building a social media graphic, an annual report, an event flyer, or a newsletter, Canva offers tools that can help you do that more effectively and efficiently. And that's what we hope to show you in this series. Next slide. So our goal for this series is simple. We want to help you become more comfortable and confident using Canva. Whether you're brand new to the platform of Canva or you're already maybe experimenting with it a little bit or more, we hope that you'll discover tips and tools, and we'll show you some shortcuts along the way that will hopefully make your communications easier and more impactful. I have personally been using Canva for about 2 years now. And what I have appreciated about it most is they keep coming out with new features that I'm learning all the time because I'm a person that needs to be learning. And then earlier this year, the biggest benefit for me has been time saving. I used Canva to create the IAS WCD annual report this year, and it took me about 1/3 the time that has taken me the last few years. So eventually, it's one of those things that I think it's a learning curve, of course, and you invest some time learning, but by the time you really get a grip on it and have some more confidence and kind of continually use it, you will see that it'll pay off in the long run in your time. It really does help save time. A few housekeeping things. As a reminder, each session in this series requires a separate registration. So just like you registered for today, you received the Zoom link in your email, you'll need to register for each session separately to receive that. Next slide. I want to recognize the team that has put this series together, and I really want to give a special shout out to Emily Finch. Emily works down south in Du Bois County and a few other adjacent counties. She helped kick this idea off the ground to put this series together. So thank you, Emily, for that. The team that eventually came together and have given a lot of time and effort and intentionality in each of these sessions is Hannah Garriott and Jamie Davenport. Both of them are with the Resilient Indiana program, and you'll be hearing from Hannah today. Also, Bria Persing and Tracy Johnson are SWCD staff in Elkhart County and Knox County. So a special shout out to them as they have put some time and effort into this. I really appreciate their time and effort and their expertise much more than my own. And you will get the value of that when you attend each of our sessions. And we are recording these sessions, as you heard at the beginning. We will be recording each session, and then I will post that on the IASWCD website, so they will be up there to view later. A couple other things for today. Throughout the session, please feel free to enter your questions in the chat. We will do our best to address these questions. At the end of our session time today, we'll have a Q&A time, and so we will get to those. We do ask during the session if you would please continue to keep yourself on mute so that our recording goes smooth. And we just want to thank you for being here. We're really excited to help you discover what Canva is about. Hope that it's something that can help, and that we're excited to kick off sort of this learning journey together. If you have any other questions, please put those in the chat as well. If you're having any issues, we will try to help and address those. Other than that, I will turn it over to you, Hannah.
Perfect. So I think it actually is going to start with Jamie. So Jamie and I are going to be talking about just basically the basic how to set up your account from the very beginning. And then our later sessions will dive into like how to use your Canva account to your setup. So I know as things change and new platforms come about, they're all different when you're signing up and finding the things. So this is, you have 0 questions and 0 looking around for things.
All right, so I'm going to get us started with just some of the key differences between the different account options that Canva offers. So I've worked with Canva for a long time now, so probably coming up on 8 or 10 years. And I've had a different version of these accounts throughout that time. And so they all vary with what features you're able to access and utilize, and kind of the level of polish that you're able to use for your different publications or whatever you might use Canva for. So starting out, there is the free account. And from the pre-survey of those who were already using Canva, which a lot of you are not, which is totally fine. That's why we wanted to have this series. There were about 16% who were using the free account. And it is a really great option, especially if you aren't very confident with how to use Canva yet. But it does have a few cons to it. So as you can see in this breakdown, it is free for the whole entire year, and you're able to use the drag and drop editor, which we'll go over in the future sessions, how to use those features effectively. You are also able to access some starter templates and some other stock content, so stock images or other graphics. However, there is a lot of pro content that is kind of behind that paywall that you wouldn't be able to access, or that if you do use it, it would come with a Canva watermark on it, which just makes it look, it distracts from the rest of the publication, and it might make you less inclined to use it. Additionally, with the free account, you only get about 5 gigs of storage in the cloud, and then you can only create 1 brand kit, which we'll go over what the brand kits are in a future session, but just something to bear in mind as you're picking which account you might like to use. For the pro accounts, there are many of you, about 25% of the respondents, who are already using a pro account in some way, shape, or form. So these are where you actually get access to a lot of those nicer features with Canva. And it's very similar to the business accounts with what features you're able to access. There's just a certain level of polish that they'll turn up even more for the business level accounts. But so with the pro account, you would be able to access that premium content that I spoke about. So there's a lot of stock photos. The stock photo library for graphics and real life images really goes up when you have a pro subscription. You're also able to access exclusive fonts from Canva, so you just have more options for creativity, as well as other templates that have been developed both by Canva and independent designers that are unfortunately behind that paywall. There are also pro tools that you're able to access that are really useful when it comes to creating publications and using Canva effectively and honestly with less frustration. I remember when I had a free account, how frustrated I would get with making certain things, and that there were just so many things that I wanted to do that I wasn't able to achieve. So there is a resize option for your publications. So say that you've already created a flyer, but you want to turn that into a postcard or into something that you could upload on Instagram. You would have to recreate it from the ground up with a free account, whereas with Pro, you're able to resize it for free and then just kind of tweak the design from there. There's also tools like the background remover, which is really nice for photos. So you're able to remove background, whether that's a logo and you want to remove that white background behind it. If you pulled it from online, for instance, or if you have a real life image where you want to remove the background and just maybe focus on the people or a certain item that's in the forefront of the image. Additionally, the Pro accounts come with 100 gigs of storage, as well as the ability to develop 5 other brand kits, which again, we'll get into the brand kits later, but it could be really useful if you have multiple projects that your office is working on, where you might like to have a brand for your office or for the district, and then also maybe for a watershed project that you're developing or some other outreach and education materials. And then the key kind of differences between the business and the pro accounts that you might be interested in is that for the business account, this allows you to add additional users to your team and they all access the same library of materials. So they're functionally very similar for how the app would look, but the business side allows you to have a team of multiple individuals who have their own distinct accounts. So there are many districts who, and you know, do with this what you will, but you can all share an account if you're comfortable doing so. So you can share the same login and be able to access Canva and have 2 or 3 or more people sharing that same login, and you only have to pay for 1 subscription. So that's one of the perks of having a pro plan, is that you could share it amongst a small office. And then for a business plan, that's where you would actually create separate accounts for each user. But the perks that come with that is that you can add in design approval if that's something that you might want to have for an annual report to know that your supervisor or that the whole team has looked at a design before you send it off for printing. Or you can also manage your team's access to certain templates or other task management. Additionally, it does come with more storage, and there is an integration with Meta Business Suite, so that then you can run ads and view the analytics, or you can just also post more directly and a little bit more easily directly from Canva. Something to note with both the pro and the business accounts is that so there is a 30-day or 3-week free trial for those if you're interested in trying it out, and you would be able to do that before you actually commit to a plan. And then it'll kick in. So I say 30-day/3-week because Canva claims that it's a 30-day free trial, but they want your billing information and will bill you after 21 days. So do with that what you will. And additionally, SWCDs may qualify for free nonprofit pro accounts, and we'll get into that later on in this presentation. But we would also recommend that, and that does come with the ability to have a small team of individuals who can collaborate on the same project. So think with that, something else to note is that these costs here, so the 144 per year and the 250 per year, that is for a yearly billing cycle. If you decide to pay monthly, the cost does go up. So they do kind of tack on an extra fee for that. But yeah, so we did have a question in the pre-survey about if you need to pay for Canva to use the features. And so kind of the short story is, you don't have to pay for Canva, but it does make the experience a lot better if you do. And with that, Hannah will take it away.
Yeah. And so what I'm going to be doing with you guys today is I'm going to walk you through how to actually set up your account. And I mean, from the very beginning of signing up, and then I'm going to show you some key things that in my experience, I'm kind of like Jamie. I've been using Canva for about, honestly, probably from when I was in college. I used it a lot for my presentations to make it more fun. But yeah, so from the get-go, and then your tips and tricks to help you set up like a great profile to keep everything organized from the get-go, because once you get far into creating things, it's easier to lose stuff. And so with that, I bring you Canva. This is what the homepage would look like when you go to canva.com on your desktop. Canva does offer a desktop version, so you have like an app, or you can also do your browser. And so I work on, and Jamie also works on federal laptops. And so with having a federal laptop, you can go on Canva via your browser. So just typing in canva.com and logging into your account that way. But if you have like a personal laptop that you would like to keep it on, you can get like a desktop version. I don't believe there's much difference between the two. I think they're the exact same. One is just on your laptop all the time, and one of them you have to look up. So with that being said, you'll come to your home page, and if you look over here, you'll see it says sign up, log in. You're going to click the sign up portion of that. Once you click sign up, you will have this open to you. Obviously, you guys probably don't have another way to sign in, or you haven't, so you'll just click continue with email. There isn't like a sign up I'm new portion as you would see on most websites when you're signing up to a new account. There'll be like free new starters, whatever. With this, it's just you put in your email. They'll notice you don't have an account attached. So here's said email. You'll have your name put in there, and then you'll be sent a code. So this is something I want to just bring everyone aware of. Canva does not really use passwords, more say. You always will get sent a code when you're logging in. And so when you get sent that code in your email, it will kind of look like something like this. Just so you know, this isn't a spam. You'll always have to have it. I've never had to use a password setup. I always get codes sent to me. So when adding other people to your account, just know that if you are setting them up, it's easier to set them up with you present. So you can just look into that email that you all are sharing, like Jamie mentioned, and add it that way. You'll get then after you type in your email, get your code put in, you'll see this screen. If you have an ISWCD login as I do in this situation, you'll see others that might have that same login. We aren't going to join any of their team unless you have permission. You can do that, but we would just click the skip button on this situation and you'll come to your home page. I like to call this creation station because this is the main page of Canva. It is also where all of your templates would be found if you have a Canva Pro. If not, this is still what your free would look like. You just might not have access to some of these templates that they show. It's like an advertisement scheme for them. They want you to see all these fun things so you can buy the Pro. But just so you know, and then you'll see in this upper right-hand corner that there is a start your free trial for $0. Everyone will see this when you first sign up. You'll click that. And when you click that, you'll be brought to this page. And so just like Jamie said, there's two different ways or a few different ways you can sign up for Canva. In this situation, it shows you the Canva Pro and the Canva Business. Canva Business used to be known as Canva Teams. Now they call it Business instead. And so just to show you quickly, Jamie obviously went through this, but so this will highlight all of the different pros benefits that you can get. And then this is all of the teams or business benefits that come with it. Very much kind of the same you're getting for your buck. Just like Jamie mentioned, a little less access. This is the same exact thing Jamie already talked on, but I wanted to show you that this is a way that you can see it. This is the monthly version. So this would be your pricing per month and not per year. So if that's something that your district or your board would like to go is pay monthly instead of yearly, this is kind of what those costs would be. So when you choose whichever account you want, so for this session, I chose Canva Pro. I'm going to try it for 30 days for free. I wanted just to highlight that you can cancel this free trial any time of those 30 days or 21 days, like Jamie mentioned. And you also can cancel your account whenever you would like throughout your entire stuff. I will go through on where you will find that also and how you can cancel that, but I wanted to point that out. Once you click next here after you sign up for the monthly subscription or the yearly, depending on what you would like, and you would click next, that's when it would ask for you to put in your card information, which I didn't show here. But it would ask you to put your card information in so it can bill you once it gets to that date when your subscription starts, which it lists here. And then once you have all signed up and put in your card information, you have started. So this is where we will get to the main page of Canva Pro. So this is back to our homepage of Canva Pro. Now we are officially Pro users or Canva users. We have signed up completely. So I'm going to kind of walk you guys through some of the settings and important things that you would probably want to know as you further down into your Canva thing. And so right down here where you see my initials, HG, it would also say whoever's initials signed up, or if you put like Montgomery County for Montgomery County District, it will say MC. You're just going to click on that icon and it will pop up this little tab. I wanted to highlight a few things, obviously settings, but also your theme, help and resources, advanced tools, plans, and pricing. So we're going to focus more on this session for your settings and plans and pricing, just so everybody can kind of get an idea of that. But also if you're interested in creating a team, this is how you would do it right here. You can create a team, and that's just basically gathering other people that might have pro accounts, and you can add them to this. So it's easier to share stuff. So I clicked on the setting portion. It will open up to this. I recommend to personalize your Canva as best as you can. So whether that is uploading a photo here, so if that's uploading your logo for your district or a photo of yourself, whatever you would like, adding your name or your district name so it can separate it from your personal Canva if you choose to use one. And then this part, I wanted to highlight what will you be using Canva for. In this case, it says small business, but they also have other ones down here. So student, teacher, large company, nonprofit or charity, and then personal. And so for this case, I would put nonprofit or charity because I usually use my Canva for work. And then on the same settings stuff, I'm still on that same exact page we were just talking about. When you first open settings and you go all the way down, you'll see an area that says billing. So if you're ever interested in changing your plan from either free or pro, so some of those of us that might have a free account currently but are interested in maybe switching to a pro account, this is kind of where you would go. Or if you want to cancel your account and your subscription, this is also where you would go. So when I click on that billing, it would pull me up to this page. This page shows me exactly which account I have. So I have the Canva Pro. My trial ends on June 25th. And this is my monthly billing that I would get. If I wanted to cancel, I would click right here. I'd click cancel plans. Also, if you're ever curious or you're not sure what card or you can't remember what card was hooked up to the account when you set it up, that will also be below here. You just scroll down. For safety reasons and privacy reasons, I obviously did not include my billing information down there, but that is where you would see it. So if you ever needed to manage your payment method or you needed to get a receipt for whatever reason, this is where you would find that, is under your billing and settings. And then just to show you also, if you're wanting to change your plan or even to pull up that screen that Jamie and I both kind of showed you of the different pricing breakpoints, if you wanted to show your board or show other organizations to show them if it's worth it, this is where you'll go. So once again, you're going to go find that icon with your initials on it. Instead of settings, we're going to click plans and pricing. And when you click plans and pricing, it will pull you up to this screen. So if you're ever interested in finding this screen, that's how you do it. This is also how you would be able to switch from a free or to a pro or to a business. Enterprise, I don't think any of us would ever use enterprise. This is for like huge graphic design companies, people that are focusing strictly on graphic design. So in this case, I wanted to show you guys how the breakdown of teams/business works. So if you just are one person using your business or your team's account, it's just going to be $25. But if you wanted to add multiple people, it's an extra $25 per person. So in this case, I have nobody else signed up. It's just myself. And you can look here. It says $25, one team member, just yourself. So that would be my monthly. I would pay $25 monthly. Say I wanted to add a second person, it's going to go up $50 a month for 2 members. If they don't accept your invite, if you invite people to become a part of your team, your bill won't change. It will only change once they accept your invitation to join their team. And then vice versa for 3 people. If I added 3 people, it would be $75. So I just wanted to show you guys that breakdown point. And like Jamie did mention, you can very much well work off of an office with just a Canva Pro. You would just have to share your login with them. And so that would be maybe using your SWCD email for the office as your login. So everybody just uses the same email. So we're not using anybody's personal email, but that is totally up to you guys, which way you decide to go and what sees fit for your office. And then I wanted to show you what it would look like if you are on a part of a team or if you have a team's account. So this is once again in our settings. This is that tab breakdown. If you do not have a team or you're not a part of a team, this is what that will look like. You will have this, you will have 0 owner, you have 0 management of your team. Your people management over here will just say people in groups. It won't say anything to do with teams. And so this is how you know you don't have a team account if you're ever curious. If you do have a Teams account or you want to start a Teams account, this is how you would do that. You would click invite people when it comes to your people management, and you would create a team. And from there, you would start adding people via their email that they would use with their Canva. And that is how you would set that up. Once you have that set up, if you choose to do so, this is kind of what it would look like and where your teams are at. So in this case, there's 3 teams that I would be a part of, and that is my own team, Greene County's team, and Montgomery County Soil's team. And so basically what the teams does is it separates all of the work for that team. So if I'm doing stuff personally, I would just remove myself from the team and work on my personal desktop and not my team's desktop. That way, nobody on that team can access my things. But if I wanted to work on something with Greene County, it's easier for me just to go to Greene County, make it so she has access without me having to share that template or thing with them. And we'll kind of go into that later sessions. We'll dive a little bit deeper into that portion. So now we're going to kind of talk about the different organizations. And once you have everything set up, how to start your account and organize it from the get-go. So here we are all still in our teams area or settings area. And you'll see over here, you have your kind of your home tabs in a way. This side screen is going to be your holy grail for Canva. It has almost everything and anything you'll need. So in this case, I'm going to click home. Once I click home, it will take me here. This is what it will look like from your very start. You have no templates on there at all. And so once you have your home page, we're going to kind of talk about starting your folders for your projects and designs to help organize those things. And so, like I said, here's your home page, but if I wanted to, I could click projects and the projects would take me to this. It would show me all of my projects that I've worked on. And so when you start a project, my number one advice to do when going through teams would be organization. So whether that's organizing by your event, organizing by the time of year, organizing by education and outreach versus business things like your annual meeting reports. However you guys see fit that works best with your office to organize, I recommend doing that. And basically how you would start to a folder or your organization is when you get to your all projects, you'll see this little plus sign. You'll click that. That will open something like this. And you can see you can start a new folder, a new course, a new design. You can upload files. You can upload your folder. You can import things of images. In this case, we're going to start a new folder. I'll click new folder. What that does is it pops this up. You can title this whatever you would like, see fit. I'm going to title this Education and Outreach. Once you have that, it will pop up on your all projects. And then what you can do from there is any flyer or pamphlet or any educational materials you might have that you would like to go in that folder, you would just add it to that folder and move it to that folder once you create that template, which when we get to the third session, I believe it is, we'll talk about that when we create our templates or create our own flyer. And I will show you how to move it into your folders from there. If there's something important that you would like to keep at the top, I recommend starring those things, whether that's a template, whether that's a folder, you can star it. And so how you do that is you'll just click this star right here. And once you click on that star, it will highlight it. But also I wanted to show you here, when you click on these 3 dots, that's when you can move it. So if you had a template that you wanted to move into a folder, you would click move, and then it would open up move where, and you could add it to one of your folders. Canva also does allow the drag and drop option. So if you have a template over here, you can hold it down and drag it to your folder, and it will automatically enter that way. And then that's how a starred project would look like. And this is what it would look like in your home page when you have all of those starred, but also all of those organized. So right over here, you can see under your starred off of my home page add-ins is all of my different folders that I have created for Canva to help organize my stuff. As you know, Resilient Indiana Techs cover quite a big area. So this is an easy way for me to organize my county stuff that I create for them, but also my own personal stuff that I might create for myself. And so Once you star those, it will pop up right here on top, so you don't actually have to search through all of your folders and try to find them. I recommend starring anything that you would use frequently. And then just to kind of go into our next talk is if you guys know any educational folk, so I know a lot of us work with our schools and our teachers and our FFA and 4-H people, they are eligible and can be eligible for a free account if they're interested. So if you have anybody that might be interested in using Canva for that type of stuff, I recommend sharing this with them. And with that, Amy will talk to you guys about how we might be able to.
Okay, I think I'm back now. Yeah, so I just wanted to touch a little bit about the nonprofit eligibility piece. Um, some districts have had some real success with this, and so I just wanted to kind of bring that up and let you know. And then I also was going to touch a little bit on the Canva Design School. So next slide. So Canva does offer the pro version to nonprofits. Upon submission of information, you have to fill out information online, and then they go through a process to accept or not. I wanted to touch on this a little bit because some districts have had success in applying for a Canva for Nonprofits free pro account. So I wanted to just let you know about that. It's something to definitely check out. Some of the things we know, go ahead and go to next slide. Thanks. Some things that we do know is that some of the districts have received a free pro account by applying under the social impact organizations category. So when you go on the Canva website and do some exploring yourself, go to the nonprofit section and read all of that is in there. One of the key factors seems to be the districts who have an actual website and not just a Facebook page. So that is one thing we have learned between some of the districts who have applied that were accepted and some who were denied. My personal opinion about this is it doesn't hurt to try, and so I would encourage districts to give it a shot and see if you get accepted and can have the free pro account if you don't already. Next slide. Other options are that you might check with your county to see if they currently have a Canva account. So like Hannah was talking about and Jamie was talking about, there are teams. And so your county might already have a Canva account set up for a team and might be able to let you join. So that's another possibility you might check into. And then, of course, if none of that works and is successful, you can always just consider signing up. Honestly, I think the price is very considerate and it's worth the benefits. Of course, you all have your district budgets, whether you can make that fit or not, whether you're interested. But I would highly encourage you to at least go through and try for possibly the nonprofit pro account if you're interested in that. Next slide. So this slide's already been shown twice, but I did want to just show you that there is a toggle there on the left between monthly and yearly, so you can see the different prices. And it just depends on, what works out best for you, whether paying monthly or yearly. Of course, yearly is a little bit of a discount. I think it comes out to be like $12 a month as opposed to the $18 a month. That is the current fee for the individual pro account. Next slide. Also, Canva offers a section that I kept calling resource library, but they define it as design school. So they offer a lot of information, really short videos, which I love. So if there's one little issue I'm having in Canva and I can't figure it out, I usually can find the topic here in their design school, and it might be a 1 or 2 minute video that shows me how to walk through the steps and do whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish. Next slide. So this is just kind of a sample of what it shows of their different courses that they offer. So for instance, if you're trying to figure out how to do better at social media and the posts that you do for those. They've got this course here it shows it's 23 minutes long. It's part of the pro account, as you can see in the top right corner of the social media mastery course. It has that crown. That crown signifies their pro account. So you would have to be a pro account member in order to view that specific course. But they do have free ones as well. As you can see there, the Canva Pro for Nonprofits and Canva Essentials don't have the crown there. Next slide. And then I just wanted to show you sort of the toolbar across for the design school, all the different types of things they offer. So they have lessons and courses and guides and videos. And it's just a really great resource library. So I wanted to make sure that you knew Canva provided this because we're doing this Canva series. We're teaching pretty fast each session. Of course, you can go back and view our videos, but you're not going to be left hanging there. That Canva actually offers quite a bit of support and help along the way as you delve more into having a Canva account and using it. Next slide. This is just a close-up of that and the website where their design school is located right there in Canva. That's a great help for you, everyone. All right, I think we're ready for Q&A. Got some in the chat, and I'll let you guys take it from there.
All
Are
right.
you running, Priya?
Yep, I got it.
Thank you.
So we've had a few questions come in, and some of them have been answered already, but I wanted to start with a question that was submitted multiple times in our pre-survey questions, which was migrating publisher documents or designs into Canva. And so I'm going to let Hannah or Jamie talk about that.
Jamie, I can start real quick, and if you have anything to add. And I actually thought about this because I looked at the pre-question surveys, and I saw that this was a had one. My recommendation is anything you have in Publisher to save it as a JPEG, and then on Canva, and we'll show you how to do this in our second or third session. On Canva, then you can upload it to whatever you want, whether that be a whiteboard, the whiteboard section, or a document. And then that way you should be able to manipulate it that way. Jamie, would you say?
I am not sure. Canva does have a new feature that they're rolling out right now that's about like flat images and being able to edit those, but I haven't had much experience with them yet. Um, I also saw this question coming up a lot in the pre-survey, so I tried to poke around and see what I could find. It's been a while since I've used Publisher. I don't have an active license for it right now. So I can't test this myself, but online, I've found that people are saying that there's an app on Canva that you could use to convert publisher files, so the .pub extension files, into Canva files, but I have not been able to try it out myself. It says that it's called Design Marks, and that it is available in Canva. Has anybody on the call had experience with that by chance? Okay.
I know there's an like a feature on Canva that you can do a magic grab, and you can grab stuff from like an image. So if like you had like a heading or whatever, you'll be able to grab that heading off that image and move it to whatever you're using. And so like that's what I was thinking with moving publisher stuff. If you upload as a JPEG and then just, I mean, it's going to be a little bit harder, but you'll have to magic grab everything you had on there. But with that also, I would hope Canva helps edit and up those a little bit more so you can work around them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. But so if you have a more text heavy thing, so I know there are some folks who have some booklets that you've developed through Publisher, and I'm not sure how Magic Grab would work with text and if it could make the text editable again. But there isn't an exactly perfect solution, but we are going to try to toy around with this and have maybe some experience with the Design Marks app by the next session.
If any of our counties, Jamie or I's, currently uses Publisher and is on this call, let us know. And next time we're in the office, we'll play around with it so we can get this answered for you guys.
I'd like to add to that a little bit. You were talking about JPEGs and editing things. In general, if you save things as PDFs, they tend to not flatten the layers. They tend to have multi layers, which allows for more editing. And so there's a possibility that maybe if you upload a PDF in Canva that you might be able to adjust some of the layers, but I'm not sure on that. But just as a thought for PDF and layers. We've had a few more things come in, and they're actually things that we are going to touch on in later parts of the Canva series. And one of them is downloading. Can you save downloads, documents on the computer like you can on Publisher? And you just have to download them either in PDF, JPEGs, or things like that, which we are actually going to go over in session 3 or 4, I believe. So stay tuned for that. And then another one is, will Canva print for free if you have a pro account? Which printing is also something we're going to touch on, I think, in session 2 or 3. But Jamie, if I'm correct, you still have to pay for printing through Canva regardless, correct?
If you order professionally printed products through Canva, you do have to pay for those. There is a discount on printing products if you have a business account with Canva. So the Business Pro version, I think you get a 10% discount on what you order. But you are able to save your files. I would recommend saving as a PDF, just generally, and then you could print them in office for your office cost, if that's something you'd be interested in. We will cover printing in the publications session, so that's the 3rd session. But as quick answer, there's that.
And right now we don't have any other questions that haven't been answered throughout your talking. So if anybody has any additional questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat.
For the benefit of the recording, we could maybe cover some of the high level answers that we had. So in case there's anybody who's listening after the fact and isn't able to, there was another question that came in often about using federal computers with Canva. And if you have to have the app in order to use Canva, you don't. There is a browser version of Canva. That's what Hannah uses most frequently. I like to use the app a lot more. But on federal computers, you are not able to download the app. It isn't cleared for installation yet. Maybe it will be in the future, but for now, you would have to use it on the browser. But the functionality is all still very similar, and your user experience should be about the same.
I also would like to add on app-wise, there is a Canva app for your phone for any districts that might have like their social media on their phone to make that easier to download to your work phone and then upload it there. I also like to use it if I'm out and about and I am away from my desk and a district might need me to edit something I created for them or change something. I can quickly just go onto my app on my phone, change that for them, and then they have it on their side to download, print, do whatever they need to do with it. And so that's been very helpful as well if anybody is interested in that.
All right, so we've had a few more questions come in. There's one of them that actually I'm going to answer. So, because we went over this a little bit and they said, you're talking about the pro account. What are the benefits of the pro versus the free? And we kind of talked about that a little bit with a pro account. You get access to more library, storage, all of that. One of the biggest things that I've noticed is when you have the free account, when you download things to use on social media, print stuff, any of that, it will only let you download it at 80% quality, not 100% quality, which can make a really big difference in how things look on the screen, but especially when they're printed. So if you're trying to print a brochure or something like that, everything's going to look fuzzy and your wording is not going to look crisp either. So it'll make it a little bit harder for people. And then you also don't have as large of a library for stock photos and things like that. And a lot of the stock photos that Canva uses are the same that you would find on iStock or Adobe Stock. So that's something to note. Another question that came in, which was a follow-up, Jamie, to the printing. Why are we concerned about Canva printing stuff for us, like fancy things and posters?
I was just typing in chat an answer in the chat, so this is perfect timing. So Canva has a lot of different options that you can use for printing. So they offer it for apparel, stickers, banners, larger posters. You could get business cards ordered on Canva. It just has many different products that you might like to just order all in one place. But if you have a print shop in town that you already like to go through, then you could also download your designs from Canva and send it to them, or print it in-house. The main distinction with Canva is just that if you want to kind of have it a little bit easier, they'll go ahead and order it for you and send it right along. And like Amy said in the chat, she's used this feature and she likes it. She thinks that their prices are pretty reasonable. And I've ordered some pretty random things through Canva, like t-shirts, and the quality has still been pretty good. And it has a nice turnaround time that's a little bit quicker than you might get at a local place.
I will also add when you order from Canva, their printing service, you instead of like printing in the office, you don't have to deal with that white border around things. They will print them the whole page. So like if you're printing, like in my experience, one of my counties printed their annual booklets that I created for them. And one, they came pre-stapled, pre-ready, already in a book, but it didn't give us that white border when we had done our pre-trial printing on ourselves. So that's something to think about.
And we will cover printing a lot more in depth during the publication session.
All right, another question that came in, a person was looking at the nonprofit status stuff and they were asking for an organizational ID and asking if a tax ID or just district name would work for that. In this case, asking for organizational ID, I believe they're asking for the tax ID or the official business name, depending on if they're asking for a number or a name. So it would need to be the legal name of it and the legal tax ID, the FEIN. Okay, here's another one. This I think is more personal preference. If you were going to purchase Adobe or Canva for newsletters, which would you go with, or some other apps?
Personally, like we said, this is probably all bias right now, but I would choose Canva only because they have a lot more to offer with features, but like add-ins, like your elements. And we'll talk about that in upcoming sessions as well, but we'll go into depth on how to create your own like newsletter or flyer. I'll show you some examples that we've created for other districts and whatnot if you are interested in seeing ideas. But that's my personal preference. I usually only use Adobe for like signing stuff, truthfully. But Jamie, you might have a little bit more.
I am assuming that Adobe is they might mean Photoshop, in which case I would still recommend Canva. It's a little bit more user friendly and easy to learn. If you already know how to use Photoshop, then certainly I think Adobe is a really great option. And it will give you some more powerful features if you are tech savvy already. But if you aren't and you're kind of learning something from scratch, either way, I would recommend Canva. Again, there's some bias, but it's just been easier to learn and there's a lot more explanations and easy access. So there's the resource library that Canva already offers, but then additionally, there's folks online who have tips and tricks. And then there's also more familiarity, I think, with coworkers nowadays who have used Canva.
I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said, Jamie. I'm a graphic designer, so I use InDesign and Photoshop and all of that a lot. And it is a larger learning curve and it doesn't offer as many of the photo options, icon graphic options, or any of that kind of stuff that you get in Canva. So if you're newer to designing or anything like that, I would 100% recommend Canva, just like Jamie and Hannah said. Even I use Canva, even though I'm a trained graphic designer and I use InDesign all the time, I still use Canva for all of our social media stuff. So it's easier and the resource library is so much more vast and it's faster in some ways for certain things. So.
And we haven't talked about this too much, but along those lines also is that Canva just provides so many templates. So you don't have to create from the ground up. And that's very helpful for me because I don't have graphic design background either. And so it's not always that I use the whole template. I completely customize it and use it the way I want. You can change colors and anything, but it at least gives you an idea and a basis to start from. Very helpful.
Last chance for questions. I think we've answered most of them verbally and some in the chat that have come up that we also answered. So if you have any additional ones, we have a few more minutes and then we'll wrap it up.
And just a reminder, I put a link in the chat on the IASWCD website. We have all the dates, links to register for each of the sessions, as you'll need to do that, and a description. So you kind of know what we're going to go into with each session as well.
Here's a question that's come up a few times. Can Canva billing use ACH payments? It cannot. It only offers credit card and PayPal payments for in the US. But from some research that I found, if you're on an enterprise account, I believe they allow some ACH, but only on an enterprise. So if you're on Pro or if you're on the Teams, the business, it has to be PayPal or credit card, and they do not do any sort of traditional invoicing.
You want to go to the next slide, Hannah? That just kind of introduces the next session, I believe. Yeah. So our next meeting will be June 23rd, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And make sure you register for that so you can get the Zoom link. There's something else. What was it? Oh, it's on graphic design basics. Yeah, so Bria will be presenting mostly at that one. She is a graphic designer by trade, so we're very fortunate to have her with us. And we wanted to spread these sessions out a little bit so that you have time to sign up for Canvas if that's something you're interested in, and or getting that free trial to try it out. And so we wanted to give you time to kind of do that and maybe play around with it before the next session and bring your questions. Are there more questions in the chat?
There was one that I think it would be good to put out there. It's already been answered, but it asked me about, can you further discuss the additional $25 fee to add people to your team? Is that monthly or overall? And that is a monthly thing. So on a Teams account, if you don't get the free nonprofit one, you are paying for each user that you add in. So if you have 3 users, you will be paying $75 a month or whatever the annual fee is per user. So getting that nonprofit and using Teams is really beneficial. Getting the
Another
nonprofit using
option,
Teams. Yeah.
yeah, definitely, Bria. Another option, if you're interested in having a team to collaborate on the same designs, but maybe you don't care about managing the team, you don't care about the extra storage, or some of that team management piece, you could individually get pro accounts and pay for those and then be able to collaborate on the same projects in the same folder. So Hannah went over some of that in her overview of Canva. And that would end up being cheaper, but you do lose some of that management capability for the team.
And if I'm not wrong, I believe that is just called groups. I think that's all that is you create a group instead of a team. And that's just so it's easier to share designs through the two. But like Jamie said, yeah, you don't have as much power over who has what.
And then again, there's also that option of having one account for the whole office and organizing everything in folders so that all of that. But there is a downside. There's upside to that and downside to that. Upside would be is when people upload photos, you have access to all of those same photos and everything like that. Downside is they could potentially delete your design or something if they aren't paying attention. So it's a give and take.
Are you speaking from experience, Bria?
No, it's a fear of mine though. In our office, we use one Canva account, and so everybody can see what I'm working on. But there's always that fear of like, is somebody going to accidentally move something or erase something or open a file and adjust something? But I trust my coworkers, but that fear is still there.
And one other side note, I will get this recording posted in the next couple of days on the IAS WCD website. So it'll be on the same page where we already have the trainings, the link that I put in chat. So you will have that to review if you need that to, Hannah did such a good job going through those steps and screenshots. So if you want to use that video to sort of walk through yourself signing up, or review something, it will be up there in the next day or two for you.
And I
There,
will also say personally, if anybody has questions, you can feel free to reach out to me individually or anybody. I'm sure any of us are willing to answer questions as well.
yeah. There's one more question that came in that I wanna, because this is a really good one. Do you have the same level? Do you have to have the same level of plan to collaborate? And Jamie, you answered about you need a pro account to access the features. I believe a free account could be added to a pro design, and it can, because I've had that happen where I had a free account, they had a pro account, they added me in, but I didn't have access to the pro features, even though that other person did. You still only have access to your free features.
I'm glad you have that personal experience, Bria.
Okay. I think we covered it all and then some. So hopefully, uh, this has been a good session for you all and some encouragement and inspiration to get started if, in fact, it's something you're interested in. We hope you'll join us for the other sessions. I believe we have four more, next one being this June 23rd session. And again, if you have any questions in between, feel free to reach out to any of us and we will connect. Thank you.